Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10. I guess it's not really morning. It's noontime, lunchtime, and it's not really getting you ready for the day. Maybe we'll say this episode sort of sustains the day. Had some stuff going on this morning, so appreciate your patience as we get to it a little bit later than normal. A lot to talk about. Fun night at the ballpark last night. Really electrifying is the word I will use. Paul Skenes start against Shohei Ohtani. We've seen two nights in a row. Jared Jones, Paul Skenes. I have some thoughts on that. Took a fun walk around the ballpark as well to sort of digest all of the atmosphere and some of what I saw. It was one of those nights that kind of stands out above the rest for me. Going to get into some Pirates topics. Also want to touch on the Steelers signing Cam Sutton, another column I wrote, and have a feature in today's paper as well, or coming out soon, I should say, online today that I want to tell you about. But first, I want to remind you that we're sponsored by the North Shore Tavern. You don't have to be a baseball fan to love it there. The interior is wall-to-wall Pirates. There are appetizers, entrees, cocktails, and of course, steak and seafood on a sizzling lava stone. Open every day. The North Shore Tavern across from PNC Park is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. That place was bumping last night. PNC Park was bumping last night. I think I took a little bit of heat on Twitter or X, not that I care, but saying the place was packed. Compared to a typical Wednesday night, it was. And there's just been such a cool energy around there that has been missing. And I tried to capture that in my column today, with Jared Jones pitching, Paul Skenes pitching, 2 victories against the Dodgers. To me, there's just something different with those guys, what they represent, the chance that they give the Pirates, and not just those guys. I kind of felt like I gave Mitch Keller and Bailey Falter short shrift. I mean, they should absolutely be getting their just due. This starting rotation has been outstanding. It's been the backbone of the team so far. And who knows where that can go, whether that means a playoff series, a World Series. I know that those are crazy things, but I thought Joe Starkey put it well, that it would be easier for them to win the World Series than reach the playoffs, which it sounds crazy to write, but I know what Joe's getting at. If you match up against them in a playoff series, it's wild. And it's so cool to see how these guys go about their business. Skenes is getting surrounded by Japanese and American media last night. And I noticed Jones kind of off to the side waiting for him. And I motioned to Jones and asked him to talk briefly, and he did. He's always wonderful about that stuff, and gave me the quote or the anecdote about Skenes when he came up here, said to Keller and Jones, "It's like it's going to be us for the next 5 or 6 years, huh?" And I mean, some people might take that and say, "Oh yeah, well, he expects to be out of here, nothing's going to get rid of him," or something like that. I didn't take it that way. I mean, that's the only guarantee. That's the under the term of Keller's contract. It's the guarantee for Major League Baseball salaries. But there's truth there. And there's truth there as it relates to last night, where the Pirates have such a unique opportunity right now. They really do. And maybe ahead of schedule, at least as far as the pitching goes. There's a finite number of pitches to come out of a guy's arm before something goes wrong. That's not being doomsday. That's just reality. It's a unnatural, violent act that, the days of having all 3 of them together, I don't want to say their number because that's not what I mean. But if you have it, go for it. Make a push. Do something. And I do think the Pirates will. I do think they will. I think they recognize the unique opportunity that is in front of them. I think there are other things associated with it. It's not like if they, get one bat, things will magically improve. It's bigger than that, right? If you look at their season, they have things they can do better, certainly, fundamentally, bullpen-wise. More consistency up and down the lineup, getting some people healthy, getting guys back from being healthy. Key Brian Hayes would be one on that list, some consistency from O'Neal Cruz. I'm picking, but you get the idea. They have areas of their game that they need to improve. That being said, do you really want to go up against the Pirates in a playoff series with Skenes, Jones, and Keller? I mean, yes, other teams are, blessed with talent. Certainly. I look at the Dodgers, I look at the Phillies. They're going to be there at the end of this thing. I'm not propping the Pirates up as better than all of those teams. I'm propping the Pirates up as somebody who has a very cool opportunity in front of them. And I think the guys inside doing it are noticing that. I think the fans are noticing that. One of the things I noticed walking around the park again is just how many people are engaged in watching the darn thing and caring about it and reacting to it. It was more a social gathering before, and that's not a criticism of fans. I'd be doing the same thing. They need to give you a reason to care, but Jared Jones and Paul Skenes give you a reason to care. and it's fun, and it turns the attention to what's happening on the field. And that's just such a welcome change. Some other impressions from last night and sort of going forward, just so impressed with Nick Gonzales. I really like what he's done at second base. I mean, it's sort of obvious at this point you're not going to take him out of the lineup, but we're probably not talking enough about the development that has happened with him lately, what he's figured out in the minor leagues, making swing adjustments, finding the confidence. Is that a good draft pick for them? I'd argue that it has been. Something that happened last night that I'd like to see more of is Edward Olivares in the outfield. Kind of an odd one, but there's an opportunity for him to play more. I don't think you can argue that Jack Sawinski has any sort of spot locked down. You know, his most redeeming effort last night was getting a sacrifice bunt down from the number 9 spot. Like, that kind of stinks to see that fall from grace, but at the same time, where they're at right now, I want to see Olivares get a few more at-bats, and I want to see Olivares get a few more at-bats because they need a bat, and I want to know where it is. If you give him a run of at-bats and maybe he turns into something, maybe that means Connor Joe's your first baseman. And yeah, I don't know. I'm getting down the road. I just want to know more of what they had in him. And he looked good last night, 2 more hits, on base 4 times, whatever. Really, really like that. All right. So switching gears over to Steelers, they signed Cam Sutton to a veteran minimum contract. Obviously, this one comes with a lot of baggage. It also comes with the relationship and having known Cam, with them drafting him. And, I understand he fills a football need. I saw a lot of reaction to that. I also saw a lot of reaction to what was in a criminal complaint with him and a longtime girlfriend, according to the Tampa Bay Times, and some of the allegations there. It was originally, I believe, a felony warrant out for his arrest. He's evading police. He turns himself in, turns into a misdemeanor battery charge. I'm not smart enough to figure all that out. And most of you probably aren't either, although we can, see what charges are. And when you enter pretrial diversion programs and admit such things, like it's not good. I mean, I'm not sitting here and defending it. I'm trying to walk a middle line, recognizing fact, recognizing what a team might go through, recognizing that people do get second chances. And to sit here and say that they shouldn't or won't, that's wrong of everybody. Now, is it too soon? I could understand that. Would you like to see more? I could understand that. You look at it from the other side. Did the Steelers feel like they know this guy and they might know a little bit more about the situation than most? Potentially. Which is why I wrote the column and kind of thought about it the way I did. Let's hope. Let's hope. It was sort of the same feeling and emotion that I had in Florida when the Pirates signed Domingo Germán. Like, great, he might play baseball. I don't care. What I think about is kids at home and a woman and a family and all this stuff. Like, nobody wants that. I mean, obviously, you don't need me on a podcast talking about that. It's just, the genesis of my column is let's hope that, there's not the negativity that appeared out there. Let's hope that some of what was alleged did not happen, was a misunderstanding, was something. Let's hope if there's help needed that he gets that help, that the family gets that help, that, whatever. Like, let's hope that there's not a negative situation here that was sort of brought about by football and someone playing football well. Last thing I want to talk about is a really cool charity event happening at PNC Park. I shouldn't say charity event, but a camp called the Perfect Pitch Camp, June 15th. Signups are June 10th. You have to be signed up by June 10th. It is for deaf and hard of hearing children, run by 2 people, Kevin Giza and Aaron Nochezi. Kevin I've known Kevin for a few years now, but was an associate scout with the Pirates. Doesn't do a ton of scouting anymore, but was an area baseball coach and played at Point Park, played at Fox Chapel, and just a neat story with the 2 of them and how they got this thing off the ground. And Aaron has a fascinating story as well, coming from the Western Pennsylvania School of the Deaf. He is not deaf, but his parents are, and grew up in that environment and saw, sort of how special it is when you can bring people together around sports. Kevin sort of infused the baseball aspect of it, but they've been doing this camp. Now this will be the 11th iteration of it. And they thought about canceling it. They thought about being done and just pivoting to something else. And Nochezi's gone through his own health issues that I read about in there and sort of just wanted it. Thought like, man, I don't want to be done with this. And texted Kevin and said, like, look, I'm in if you're in. Let's do this. And Kevin was all about it. And they restarted the camp sort of after thinking that they were going to be done with it for all time. So a neat story there, and how that this camp and this effort has bonded the two of them and affected a lot of deaf and hearing impaired children throughout the area, and hard of hearing children throughout the area. So anyway, check that out. Thank you so much for watching and listening, enjoying doing these every day. I'll be back here same time, maybe not the same time, maybe a little bit earlier, and talk to you, take some questions tomorrow. Make sure you like and subscribe and get all the content from me and other Post-Gazette writers. Talk to you again.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.